In a quiet place far from the busy world, there lived a young woman who had never seen the world around her. People often called her a princess because of her family and the respect she got. But her life was very different from what anyone imagined. She was blind from birth, and she had never looked into another human's eyes. Everything she knew about the world came from sounds, smells, and stories told to her. Even though she could not see, her mind was sharp and full of curiosity. She could understand things that many people found complicated. Scientists and experts often visited her to learn from her ideas. She listened carefully and remembered every detail, making connections that others could not. Her blindness had not made her weak. Instead, it made her focus more on listening and understanding. Most people saw her as a symbol of hope and intelligence, but inside she often felt lonely. She wondered what it was like to see someone's face, to notice the way people smiled or frowned. She wanted to understand what it really meant to be human, not just through words, but through the life experiences that sight could show, despite the quiet and the rules around her. She had a strong will. She loved listening to stories about the outside world, imagining the colors of flowers, the movement of rivers, and the warmth of the sun. Every day, she asked questions about life, nature, and people. She wanted to know everything, not through her eyes, but through her heart and mind. She dreamed of the day she could truly understand humanity, the life she had only ever felt and never seen. A new helper arrived to spend time with her. He was not a scientist or an important person, just someone who wanted to help and understand her world. Unlike many others, he did not treat her like she was fragile or untouchable. He spoke to her normally as if she were any other person. This made her feel comfortable and safe. He would describe everything around them in simple words. He told her how sunlight touched the trees, how the wind moved the leaves, and how children laughed in the distance. He also spoke about people, their feelings, and how they cared for each other. Slowly, she began to understand humanity in ways she had never imagined. She could picture kindness, courage, and the mistakes people made. The young woman asked many questions. She wanted to know why people hurt each other and why some were brave while others were afraid. He answered honestly, without hiding the difficult truths. She listened carefully and thought deeply. Each story she heard became a small window into the lives she could never see. They spent hours talking every day. She learned to imagine smiles, tears, and the warmth of friendship. Though she could not see, she started to feel the shape of human life in her mind. She discovered that being human was not only about looks, but about feelings, actions, and choices. For the first time, she felt connected to the world outside her quiet place. She realized that even without sight, she could understand humanity in a deep and meaningful way. It was through listening, asking questions, and feeling empathy that she began to see the true beauty of life. Every day brought a new lesson. She grew more confident that she could understand the world without ever needing her eyes. As weeks passed, their conversations grew deeper. She began asking about emotions she had only felt but never understood fully. She asked about love, loss, anger, and forgiveness. He answered honestly, sharing stories from his life and the lives of others. He told her about people who made mistakes and learned from them, and people who were brave even when scared. She listened closely, imagining every detail. Even without sight, she started to form pictures in her mind. She could sense the sadness in a story, the joy in a laugh, and the courage in difficult choices. Her understanding of humanity was growing. She realized that seeing with eyes was not the only way to understand people. Listening and feeling could teach her just as much, maybe even more. She began to notice patterns in people's behavior. She could predict how someone might react to kindness or fear. Her insight surprised those around her. Even though she could not see faces, she could understand the heart behind the actions. It made her feel connected to a world she had never touched before. Every conversation gave her a new way to see the world. She learned that humanity was not perfect, but it was beautiful in its honesty, its mistakes, and its growth. She felt a sense of closeness with people she had never met. Each story made her feel less alone and more part of the life around her. Through these lessons, she began to understand that sight was only one way to experience the world. Understanding, empathy, and listening were just as important. She felt herself changing, growing stronger and wiser, ready to face life with a heart that could truly see. One day, a sudden problem reached the people around her. Leaders were confused and afraid, and the situation seemed dangerous. Everyone looked for answers, but fear made it hard to think clearly. They needed guidance and calm words to remind them of what mattered, even though she could not see. She was asked to speak to many people through a broadcast. She felt nervous but ready. She used what she had learned about people, their fears, hopes, and dreams to guide her words. She spoke slowly and clearly, telling stories about ordinary people who acted with courage and kindness. She reminded everyone that being human meant caring for each other. Even when times were hard, her voice reached thousands and her words touched hearts. People began to calm down. They remembered that fear could be faced with understanding and cooperation. Leaders listened to her carefully. Her insight came from listening to people and understanding emotions, not from sight or power. She showed that empathy and truth could guide decisions better than panic for her. It was not about winning or being praised. It was about helping others see what she had learned, that humanity is strong when people support each other. She felt proud, knowing she could help without needing eyes to see the world's troubles. Her understanding of people's hearts had become a tool to bring hope. That day she realized that she could make a difference. She had never seen humanity with her eyes, but she had always understood it. Now, her words helped others feel connected, safe, and brave. Even in crisis, she proved that true sight comes from the heart and mind, and not only from the eyes. Years later, new medical technology made it possible for her to see. The procedure was risky, but she agreed, curious about the world she had only imagined. Many people waited anxiously to see her reaction. The moment had finally come. When the bandages were removed, light entered her eyes for the first time. Colors, shapes, and movements filled her vision. It was overwhelming, but she did not feel fear. Instead, she felt a deep sense of understanding and connection. The faces of people around her, their smiles, tears, and expressions of hope, touched her heart more than she had ever imagined. She realized that seeing was beautiful, but it was not what mattered most. She had already understood humanity through listening, empathy, and stories. Sight was just another way to experience what she had felt inside for years. She could now match the images she saw with the understanding she already had, making her feel complete. She smiled and spoke softly, expressing what she had learned. She said that true sight is not only with the eyes, but with the heart and mind. She had known humanity long before she could see it. The crowd listened, inspired by someone who had experienced life without sight and yet understood it more deeply than most people ever could. From that day on, she became a symbol not just of knowledge or status, but of understanding, empathy, and hope. Her journey showed that even without physical sight, one can truly see the essence of humanity. Her story reminded everyone that listening, feeling, and caring are the truest forms of vision, and that understanding the world begins with opening the heart.